Yeah, dear students, now I'll be dealing with velocity triangle of steam turbine. I have taken feedback uh, of the previous video related to steam turbine. Now, the whole teaching material of velocity triangle is taken from my own book, Thermal and Fluid Power Engineering. So, let us directly move to velocity triangle of steam turbine, which is very essential as far as numerical solving is concerned. So let us start with velocity diagram. One thing I missed to tell about example of pressure velocity compounding. Example of this one is reactive turbine, reactive and Joule turbine. You should remember name for example of pressure and velocity compounding steam turbine, that is reactive and Joule turbine. For a velocity compounding it was Curtis turbine, right? Efficiency of reactive and Joule turbine is greater than Curtis turbine. So efficiency, you should remember, efficiency of reactive and Joule turbine is more than efficiency of velocity compounding, that is Curtis turbine. So now let us start with velocity triangle. So students, again I remind you, anyhow this concept should be known to you for velocity diagram of a steam turbine. Very simple method I will tell you how to draw so easily of velocity diagram of steam turbine. At the same time, I tell you, if you refer so many books, different methods are given to velocity diagram, to draw velocity diagram properly. I appeal to you. Here I am going to give a very simple method to draw so easily how you can draw a velocity triangle of a steam turbine. If once velocity triangle is properly drawn, any difficult numerical you can solve so easily based on this one. So first speed is tangential speed u. When shaft rotates, which is connected with your wheel, the shaft, on this shaft, let us say a wheel is attached over here. This is your wheel, shaft is attached. On this wheel, blades are mounted. On this one, blades are mounted like this. Blades are mounted like this. When this wheel rotates, this shaft also rotates. So here u is your tangential or circumferential velocity of blade, which this blade is attached with this wheel. This is your wheel. This is your blade. Right? So this is written in the form of pi d n upon 60, where d is your mean diameter of blade. Why written mean diameter? Because suppose if you draw like this, height of blade is up to this much, suppose. So therefore mean written over here. So mean written over here. Like say if I show this one, let us say yes. So this is your mean diameter of wheel, capital D. This part is your rotor. This part is your rotor. So u is your, this is tangential velocity or circumferential velocity. That is your pi d n upon 60. Right now, velocity V1, velocity V1, that absolute velocity of steam coming out from nozzle, that is at inlet of the blade at this section 1 and at the same time V2 is absolute velocity at the outlet of moving blade. Here relative velocity, this is very important to know. Relative. Dear students, I give one example to you. Let us say a stationary body, let us say a train is stationary standing in front of you. Suppose you want to hit a particular window through a stone. There is a good chance you can hit to a particular window of the train, stationary train. But if that train is moving, it is highly impossible to concentrate on that particular window so that we can hit that particular window itself by a stone. Since train is also moving now, stone is also moving at certain speed. It means that stone will hit to that particular window only and only through a relative velocity, with a relative velocity, and henceforth this picture comes as a relative velocity. Since both here blade as well as steam both are having speed, henceforth steam in practical case will hit with a relative velocity to any turbine blades, and henceforth relative velocity comes in picture. So VR1 at the inlet of the blade, relative velocity at the inlet of the blade, and VR2 at the outlet of the blade. Right. Now this absolute velocity V has two components. First component is VW1, that is in the direction of rotation. We call it whirl velocity, which is responsible to rotate a wheel, henceforth the word given whirl, whirling no, to rotate. So VR1 at the inlet and similarly VW2 at the outlet. In fact, we will see later this VW1 is nothing but V1 cos alpha 1. Similarly, VW2, that is V2 cos alpha 2. We will see later. Right. Now there is another axial component of V1. This is your called VF1. So it is axial component. Right. This is VF1, that is at the inlet. This axial component is called velocity of flow. Velocity of flow, which is responsible to allow to get exhausted outside the blade. So VF1 is velocity of flow at the inlet. Similarly, VF2 velocity of flow at the outlet of moving blade. Right. Now this alpha 1, this is angle, because nozzles are inclined. Nozzles are inclined through which steam comes from the boiler and it allows to glide on moving blades. So that inclination angle is given, that is called alpha. So alpha is angle of between absolute velocity of steam at V1 and tangential velocity U. Alpha 2 at the same way at the outlet. For axial flow, you should remember alpha 2 is 90 degree. I will show the velocity triangle. Another important parameter, that is blade angle. This is very important. At the section 1 of the blade, the blades are, this is a wheel, blades are mounted like, say, suppose this one, another blade is like this. So this is your section 1, this is your section 2. For another blades again 1, right, and here 2. So at section 1, this is thickness of blade. So at section 1, steam enters, so it is beta 1. There is a angle of the blade at section 1, henceforth written blade angle at the inlet, and similarly beta 2 at the outlet of the moving blade. This is your moving blade, this is also moving blade. Right, mean diameter rod we have seen. Now K is again a very important parameter, blade velocity coefficient. Always there is a friction comes in picture when steam glides between two consecutive blades. Steam from nozzle comes out like this, enters between two moving blades, and then it goes out, and henceforth it rotates like this, right? So since steam glides on these two blades, henceforth friction comes in picture. So this is friction coefficient, which is VR2 upon VR1. Always due to friction, this VR2 is less than VR1, and henceforth we write VR2 is equal to K times VR1. With relative velocity, steam enters between two consecutive blades at the inlet section 1 with this VR1, and since friction comes in picture between two consecutive blades, and henceforth VR2 is less than, and henceforth value of K is coming between, practically between 0.7 to 9. Let us say if VR1 value is, let us say 50, and if you multiply, let us say, with 0.8 with value of K, so it will come 40 for this VR2. So this VR2 with this one steam goes out having less velocity 40, it means there is a decrease in value of 10. This 10 value velocity is utilized to create a force, and henceforth steam rotor of turbine blade keeps on moving, and then we get work. Now dear students, the very another important parameter, this is speed ratio. Speed ratio is U upon V1. So that is tangential velocity of blade divided by absolute velocity of steam at inlet. So you must remember speed ratio, it will come later while deriving blade efficiency of simple impulse turbine or reaction turbine as well. And this is so simple about MS, this is your rate of flow of steam, that is in kg per second. So now we will be going through draw velocity triangle over here. Look at here. This is your nozzle. Through this steam enters. Steam enters. It goes out and enters at inlet section of turbine blade. U is your tangential velocity. So it is written like this. It is drawn like this. Nozzle is inclined with this value alpha 1. Nozzle issues steam with this absolute velocity V1. At section 1, and section 2. At section 1, as I told you earlier just now, that turbine blade as well as steam coming from nozzle, both are having speed, and henceforth in actual case that steam meets at the section 1 with relative velocity. So with relative velocity it enters like this with VR1, that blade is inclined at angle beta 1. So just I told earlier about this VW1, that is your component of V1, that is V1 cos alpha 1, right? Another component VF1 is your V1 sin alpha 1. So about V1 sin alpha 1 is written over here, right? Now if you look at about this line, this relative velocity line is a straight one. It is drawn like this, and after gliding this steam with relative velocity on this turbine blade, right, on this turbine blade, it goes out from section 2 like this with relative velocity Vr2, right? Now if we extend it, same one, it meets over here. This is your axis in which it is shown as a U now. So look at with concept of velocity triangle geometry, like say look at here, this line, this one and this one, this angle should be equal to this angle, so written beta 1 beta 1, right? Likewise about beta 2, if we draw this horizontal line, incline and then horizontal line, these two are parallel, right? So geometry says this angle should be equal to this angle, so beta 2 beta 2, right? So here this Br2 and this is V2, and in the same direction of U, this U is mentioned over here. So dear students, this is inlet velocity triangle and this is your outlet velocity triangle. This velocity triangle is drawn at the section 1 of the blade. This velocity triangle is drawn for section 2 of the blade. So this is at inlet, this is at the outlet, right? Now for examination point of view, not necessary to draw this velocity triangle, so for your easiness, this is combined one over here. So this velocity triangle is combined over here. Now my dear students, very easy method to draw this combined velocity triangle. This velocity triangle is required always either for proving blade efficiency or for solving numerical part. So my request is to please focus here now how to draw so easily velocity triangle of a simple impulse turbine, that is your D level turbine. So this is velocity triangle, combined velocity triangle of a D level turbine, that is simple impulse turbine. Okay. So let us see. This is a combined one. So U here and here also. This is combined one. So combined velocity triangle is drawn from this point to this point. This is your head of U. Right. Now from head of U, if you look at here, same line, this same line is copied over here. Same line is copied over here for VR1. right? V1 also, V1 also is drawn here, right? This is, this V1 is coming from your nozzle. This V1 is coming from nozzle, this one, right? This part is your nozzle as is shown over here. So, how to remember it? So, from head of U, this is your head of U, arrow mark. You draw one line inclined at B1 indicating VR1. Draw another line from tail of U. This is your tail of U. Draw another line at angle alpha 1, nozzle angle we call it, which meets to same point here. So V1, this is line for V1, this is line for VR1. So we completed inlet velocity triangle like this, right? Now, in the same way, for outlet velocity triangle, from head of U, draw another line at the inclination of beta 2, right? It comes like this. That is for VR2. And for absolute velocity at the outlet, draw from tail incline at alpha 2. So now let me repeat once again how to draw so easy. So from U, draw two lines from U, head of U, for VR1 and for VR2, right? And from tail of U, draw again two lines, right side for V1 and left side for V2, right? And now come for angles. Right from rightmost, draw beta 1, beta 2, alpha 1, alpha 2. That's all. I repeat once again. From U, head of U, draw two lines, VR1, VR2. From tail of U, draw two lines, right and left. This is for V1, this is for V2, right? And then for angle, from rightmost, draw beta 1, beta 2, alpha 1, alpha 2, right? Now, so easily we can say about this V1, I told earlier, this is your V1 cos alpha 1, V2 is your V2 is your V2 cos alpha 2, V2 cos alpha 2. So this is about your VW2, this is about your VW1, VW1. For V1, it is V1, VF1 is V1 sin alpha 1 and VF2 is your V2 sin alpha 2, right? These two values VW1 and VW2 are responsible to rotate the wheel. This component VF1 and VF2, these two are helpful to allow steam to go out. So we call it velocity of flow. So combined velocity triangle, you must remember how to draw so easily. If once it is drawn correctly, so easily you can solve any numerical or you can solve proof also for blade efficiency. Right. Now, dear students, very important, how to calculate work done on steam turbine and effective efficiencies. So, we know already that tangential force on the blade, that is rate of change of momentum in tangential direction, that is we know mass into change in velocity. Newton's second law of motion that says that tangential force is equal to rate of flow into change in velocity, what I told earlier. So ms upon g Vw1 plus minus Vw2, right? If Vw2 is in opposite direction of u, because here you see always will get a change. This Vw1, that is your V1 cos alpha 1. So it is from here to here in this direction. Whereas this Vw2 from here to here, that is in opposite direction. Vw1 is this direction, Vw2 is in this direction. So same thing is written over here. There is a difference always you should have. So here minus, and this is your minus because since it is opposite direction. This says about difference, and here it is your, since it is in opposite direction, so minus and minus it comes as a plus, right? And here it is ms upon g, it should be actually gc, and gc is 1 in SI unit, 1 in SI unit, and henceforth g is coming, not coming over here. So ms v w1 minus Vw2, so it comes positive. So finally this Vw1 plus Vw2, it is your total value Vw, total value Vw, that is from here to here. So that is this plus this, right? So total ms Vw, and here written your unit of force is your Newton. Right, now work done by the steam on the blade per second. Per second means this tangential velocity ft, if it is multiplied with field velocity, we can get, like say you can check the unit. For this whole one we got Newton, and this is u. So Newton, and unit of u is your meter per second. So Newton meter is your joule divided by second, that is watt. So work done per second is your watt, right? And to convert into kilowatt, you can divide it by 1000, so you can get into kilowatt, right? So this is your output power. Now come to diagram efficiency. So output efficiency for anything is output upon input. Output we have calculated just now. For input, that is we get kinetic energy from nozzle. So that is, we know already, that is half mv square. So half, this is m is your mass flow rate of steam, and this is your absolute velocity, because with this velocity steam comes out from nozzle, absolute velocity. That's why written ms upon 2v1 square. So this will come in denominator part while calculating efficiency, written here. So work done on the blade divided by kinetic energy of jet. So ms vu upon half ms v1 square. So it comes like this. So dear students, please remember blade efficiency is 2u vw upon v1 square. In terms of velocity, it is written like this also: v1 square minus v2 square divided by 2 divided by v1 square by 2. So you can write in this form also. There is another term called stage efficiency. If nozzle efficiency is given to you, we can calculate stage efficiency, which is work produced divided by isentropic heat drop takes place in nozzle. So finally with this calculation it comes stage efficiency, that is blade efficiency into nozzle efficiency. Here the stage means what? That include nozzle and moving blade, that is a set of nozzle and moving blade. So in nozzle this is your enthalpy drop, and this VWU is for work produced in nozzle only. So in this way we can calculate blade efficiency. Now next one is axial thrust, that is FA, I told earlier, that is mass into difference again of velocity of flow, Vf1 minus Vf2. So again we can write unit as a Newton, like say ms is your in kg per second, and Vf1 minus Vf2 will be having unit meter per second. So kg meter per second square is your Newton, that is your mass, and this is your acceleration. So force you know, mass into acceleration. So this is your mass and this is your acceleration meter per second square. So henceforth we can say it is Newton, that is a unit of force. So axial thrust is your ms into Vf1 minus Vf2. Dear students, this axial thrust is taking place on the bearings of steam turbine. So in next video we will be going through the condition of maximum efficiency of impulse turbine, which is really very important as far as proof and numerical solving is concerned.